Okay, so now you know why smoothies are so good for you, you know how to make them, and you know how to avoid the common pitfalls. So I guess it's time that we started looking at some actual recipes to help fortify your health and transform your energy and looks. We're going to start out with an energy and defense approach. The smoothies that we're looking at in this video and in part two are all about providing you with lots of energy and at the same time strengthening your immune system to provide you with better protection against illnesses and diseases. This is your basic smoothie, and it's the kind of purpose that most people associate with smoothies to begin with. So, what should you put into a smoothie designed for energy and defense? Well, here's one suggestion. It's called the morning wake up smoothie. First up, the recipe, then we'll dive into why it works. You'll need half a cup of cold water, 1 beet, lemon juice to taste, a tablespoon of honey, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and 2 cups of mixed frozen berries. If you're used to having coffee first thing in the morning, then you might find that you rely on using something as a pick-me-up. The problem, though, is that coffee, A, doesn't have all that much nutritional value, and B, is addictive. Caffeine works by blocking the receptors in the brain that respond to adenosine, which is an inhibitory neurotransmitter that we produce as a byproduct of the energy process. The more time we spend working, the more adenosine builds up and the slower and less cognitively we become. By blocking these receptors, caffeine can prevent adenosine from having any impact, and this in turn means that the brain feels more awake. The problem is the brain responds to this. How? By creating more adenosine receptors. The result is that you now need even more caffeine to feel its effects. Worse is that when you aren't consuming any caffeine, you'll feel slow, lethargic, and prone to headaches. When you sleep, you of course aren't getting any caffeine, and some people now believe that the morning grogginess we all experience, sleep inertia, is actually often caused by caffeine withdrawal. Then there's the fact that the caffeine stimulates the release of stress hormones like cortisol and norepinephrine. It would be a fairly accurate description to say that caffeine is like stress in a cup. As you can probably work out by now, coffee isn't a healthy choice for a morning boost. This smoothie, on the other hand, is, and it has a ton of different ingredients that do a world of good to wake you up in the morning, provide you with energy throughout the day, and to protect you from harm. Let's examine each ingredient. A mixture of berries is a fantastic way to improve your immune system and to protect yourself against a number of health problems, cancer in particular. That's because berries are absolutely packed with antioxidants. Antioxidants are substances that combat the action of free radicals in the body. Free radicals, meanwhile, are compounds that damage cells when they come into contact with them. These can cause visible signs of aging as the damage becomes more visible in our skin and in our hair. But more concerning is what happens when those free radicals break through our cell walls and all the way to our nuclei, the centers of the cells that contain our DNA. When this happens, they can damage those strands of DNA enough to cause small mutations. And if those mutations are copied, this is how we get cancerous growths. In short, a diet high in antioxidants is one of the very best things you can look for to improve your health. Adding berries to a smoothie is one of the best ways to accomplish this by far. What you're really going to feel when you drink this smoothie, though, is the power of the beet juice. Did you know that beet juice is actually such a potent performance enhancer that it's used by a number of different athletes? That's because beet juice acts as a vasodilator. A vasodilator is something that widens the blood vessels, the veins in the arteries, and thereby helps more blood and oxygen to travel around the body. This means more blood and oxygen to your brain, which in turn translates to better concentration, better mental energy, and better cognitive performance. It also means you're likely to enjoy better energy in general, and you may experience considerable performance improvements if you head out for a long run. Honey is a great choice for energy because it provides its sugar in a number of different ways. Specifically, honey contains both fructose and sucrose, which are absorbed into the bloodstream at different rates. This means honey can give you a little sugar hit right at the start of the day, but will also serve as a slower supply to keep you going until lunch. This can help prevent snacking. Of course, honey also lends our smoothie a bit of sweetness. Coconut oil is another very powerful inclusion in this smoothie. Everything is there for a reason. Coconut oil is a good choice because it contains a very specific type of fat, medium chain triglycerides. This fat is absorbed differently from other types of fat in the body and will head straight for your liver, where it will stimulate the production of ketones. Ketones are interesting to us because they serve as a secondary form of energy for the body. When the body doesn't have glucose, it relies on ketones instead. Thus, your body can survive on ketones, and actually, the brain prefers ketones for certain tasks. Any mixture with coconut oil is going to give you a big boost and will help you to feel more alert and alive. Finally, we have lemon juice, which is a great source of numerous vitamins and minerals, as well as several other things. In this particular smoothie, the role of the lemon juice is to provide vitamin C and vitamin B6, as well as to give us that refreshing wake-up call that you can only get from citrus. Not a fan of that last smoothie? Well, the next one will help to support your immune system and fight stress, but without quite so much fuel in terms of ketones or vasodilation. Again, let's do the ingredients first. 2 bananas, 1 cup of orange juice, 1 peeled orange, 3/4 of a cup of almond milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 carrot, peeled, and ice. This is another great one for combating morning fatigue and giving you some get up and go. The bananas are a great source of energy and also of potassium, which will help to fuel you for a lot longer than just those morning hours. The carrot is key because it contains good quantities of B6, as does the banana, and this helps the body to process energy from food. This means you'll get more use out of the carbs that you consume and out of the very sugar in this smoothie. Better yet, recent research suggests that lutein, which is found in carrots, might be effective in improving the energy efficiency of our mitochondria. Mitochondria are the small energy factories in our cells that have the job of turning glucose and other forms of energy into ATP, then using that ATP to drive the movement of muscles and fuel our cells. In one study, it was found that when mice were given lutein, they would run further on the wheel and actually burn a lot more calories, with no prompt from the researcher. Lutein requires a source of fat because it's fat soluble. The good news is that the almond milk in this very smoothie will do that job just nicely. Vanilla extract, meanwhile, is another potent antioxidant. As well as providing anti-inflammatory properties and combating cholesterol, it is a very good tool for making our smoothie a little sweeter on the way down. Finally, we have the orange, which is really the stress-busting part of the equation. There's a lot of orange in here, and it's going to provide a lot of vitamin C. Vitamin C plays a vital role because it's what the brain uses to make serotonin. Serotonin, meanwhile, is the happiness hormone and our very own natural anti-anxiety medication. By keeping your blood sugar steady and providing serotonin, this drink can set you up in a good mood and provide the perfect start to the day. And we'll continue this video in part 2.